In this episode, I have this Ford Transit in for a full exterior detail and 2-stage paint correction. The owner wanted this cleaned up. He used it as a business vehicle. You can still see all of the ghosting from the lettering. So I'm gonna go through, do a 2-stage correction and get that cleaned up, make this look as good as possible, and then get this ready for his wife who's gonna use this for her business. So at this point, the vehicle hasn't been touched. I'm doing my pre-wash inspection, looking at all the different parts of the vehicle. I'm noticing some lettering here on the front that I'm gonna clean up. That'll be part of the 2-stage correction. So the plan for tonight is to get the exterior ready for polishing. So I'm going to start off with a rinseless pre-soak on the vehicle to start breaking down any of the dirt that's currently on there. It's not significantly dirty, so that should be enough to emulsify that dirt and get it ready for contact wash. Once that's been dwelling for a minute or two, I'll follow up with an APC rinse and foam that onto the car, let that sit for a minute or two. And while that's doing its thing, I'm going to use some detail brushes, work my way around the vehicle, get some of those cracks and crevices to get the dirt out of those areas. And then once I've worked my way around the entire vehicle, I'll go ahead and do the contact wash. So I'm going to be using the DIY Detail Rinseless and Legacy Sponge, doing that here in the garage. And then once I've worked my way around the vehicle, I'll follow up with iron remover and a decontamination towel, clay the entire vehicle, and then rewash it with rinseless to remove that iron decon that was on the vehicle. So once that's done, then I may start polishing tonight, depending on how long that takes me. I'm probably not going to do the wheels tonight. I'll do that as a final step. I want to get the polishing done, and then the wheels I can finish up another night. The ghosting from the letters is pretty substantial, so I'm going to clean those up using foamed wool from DIY and their spray polish, and then clean it up with the jeweling pad and DIY spray polish as well. Let's talk about the ghosting that we're seeing here with the lettering. What happens over time is the vinyl that's here for all the decals will actually protect the paint, and what you're seeing around it is actually the scratching from either constant washing or contact over time. You're gonna see the difference between the two. That's really where the letters stand out, because this paint has been protected by the vinyl and then the rest of the area around it has not, so it's been scratched over time. So what we're gonna do is a 2-stage correction to get this all leveled out and get the paint uniform to remove those letters. All right, so I'm gonna do a speed run on cleaning the outside of this vehicle. I'll start off with my IK pump sprayer. This is filled with rinseless solution, so I'm gonna pre-soak the vehicle with that. Once that's done and I've let that sit for a minute, I'll hit that with the IK Foam Pro 12. This has DIY All Clean in it, diluted 15 parts to 1. So that's gonna be the APC rinse. I'll let that dwell for a few minutes, and while that's dwelling, I'll go around and hit all the intricate areas with the brushes. Once that's done, I have a bucket filled with rinseless solution and the DIY Legacy Sponge. I'll go around, wash the entire vehicle with that. As I'm working my way around panel by panel, I have my decontamination towel and my iron remover. So I'm going to decontaminate each panel as I go around the vehicle. And then once I'm done, I will go back around the vehicle, wash the vehicle for a final time, and then dry off. So I'm going to do this as a time-lapse video. I'm not going to move the camera or start and stop the video. I'm just going to leave it running while I work my way around. I will introduce some cuts so that way you don't have to see me on the back side of the vehicle, but I will go through this entire process and I will do it as one shot. It is currently 8 p.m. So what I will plan on doing is showing you the time after this is done, so that way you can see how long this actually took me. wraps up the exterior wash and decon process on this vehicle. It is now 8:37, so it took me 37 minutes to do that entire process on this car. During that process, the battery died, so the tail end of that process was cut off. So I switched up the battery and finished up that process afterwards, and still got it done in under 40 minutes. So at this point, I'm going to switch over to actually doing some of the polishing. Before I do that, there are some things that I want to point out, and this is actually the first time I've ever seen this on a vehicle. So I've been detailing on and off for the past 10 years or so, and this is the first time I've seen this. So from the factory and after the dealership delivered the vehicle, this sticker was left on the roof. So this sticker has been sitting on this paint for the lifetime of the vehicle, and it is currently flaking off and is going to be a project to remove. In addition to the sticker, there are a number of sap deposits that need to be removed. So this will be quickly removed using DIY tree sap remover. So I was able to remove that sticker at the top of the vehicle using an old school trick. So I used a razor blade and some sandpaper, and I was able to sand down the edges of the razor blade so that way there wasn't the sharp points at the edge. And then using some rinseless solution, something that provided some lubrication on top of the sticker, and just very gently glided the razor blade underneath the sticker, and I was able to peel it off that way. So that was the most efficient way that I found to get that sticker off. And it did not remove any of the clear coat, and it was actually super effective. So the key is refining those edges on the razor blade and finding and honing the edge of that razor. So I also removed all of the sap that was at the top of this vehicle. So now I'm ready to get into the polishing. So let's get to it. So I decided to try a test spot on the hood. I started off with polishing just one side of the hood with the combination I was originally planning on using. I was not getting the results that I was expecting, so I decided to go with a little bit more aggressive of a combination. I did the foam wool on a DA, followed up with a gold standard on a DA, and that ended up getting me better results. So I did a test spot to compare the two to see which one I like better, and I do like the more aggressive approach. It gets more of the defects out and finishes down a little bit better on this Ford paint. So I'm going to continue on with that combination throughout the whole vehicle. So that means that I'll have to flip back and forth between pads on my DA, which is fine, but it just will add a little bit of time to this overall process. But for the results that I'm getting, I think that that is the combination to go with. All right, so it is night 3 on this Transit. I have the passenger side that I'm still gonna polish, and I gotta do the lower part of the rocker panels on the driver's side. So I'm gonna get to that here in a few minutes. So the side of the vehicle is not reacting the same way that my test spot did on the hood. So I'm going to change up the game plan a little bit and go at this with a rotary polisher and a wool pad, clean up some of these defects, get rid of the ghosting from the letters, and then finish it out with the gold standard pad and polish on a DA, get rid of those rotary holograms, and then finish this out nicely and finish this up tonight. I am now finished polishing the exterior. I did a 2-step. The original plan was to do the foam wool pad on a DA and then finish out with the gold standard pad and polish, also on a DA. That worked fine on the roof and the hood, but once I get to the side of the vehicle, this was run through a car wash pretty regularly, so that wasn't able to cut through the defects that were on the side of the vehicle, so I had to change my game plan. So I ended up going with a regular wool pad on a rotary, and on very low speed, that was able to cut through the majority of the defects and then finish out with a gold standard pad and polish like I originally planned. That got me the results that I wanted, and now you can no longer see the lettering that was on the vehicle. The gloss and depth of the paint is brought back to almost factory condition. There are still some minor defects. I'm not going for 100% perfection. This is going to be a work vehicle, but they just wanted it looking as close to new as I could get it with the time that I had. So for the remainder of the night, I'm going to clean the wheels and do the windows, and then tomorrow I'll talk to the customer and potentially come up with a game plan. Do we want to do a ceramic coating if they're planning on just keeping it as it is, or are they planning on lettering it? And if they are, then we'll come up with a game plan, and I'll put something like a spray wax or something like that just to get them through with some protection, and then whoever's lettering the vehicle can use something to remove that. All right, so I spoke to the customer earlier today and we decided we are gonna do a full ceramic coating on this. It just made sense with all the polishing and all the work that's already been done. We'll put the coating on and keep this protected for the next couple of years. He's not planning on re-lettering it. They're just gonna leave it black the way that it is. So that made the most sense. So I'm gonna work on that tonight. That being said, I need to panel prep everything. I need to clean the trim a little bit better because that's also gonna get ceramic coated. Beyond that, I do have the interior windows, and then that'll be it for this vehicle.